All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just go over, everything I've learned about evidence towards my photo being an 1840s Illinois man and the clothing that we know Joseph Smith wore. If you go to my main page, I did add a link here to a video that I thought was really good. I mean, over 3 years, I just keep researching 1840s clothing. So now it's been like 3 years of studying 1840s clothing because after I got it in the mail, October like 13th of 2017. You'll find that I have July, August, so that's why I'm saying 3 years now. It was really July that I was like started really pushing and making some of these videos, and I really made the one where I was like, whoa, some of these analysis I was doing, I'm like, there's no way. There's certain, nasal labial folds, that's where the mouth and the nose, those lines that come down, just fell into place, and just that heavy eyelid and the eyebrows and just too many unique features and the nasal bone and I could see it, but then I was drawing it in July 2017. October 2018 17, sorry, is when I just felt very strongly I should try harder to find this guy. Found him on eBay, um, and he let me buy it because he didn't really think there was much value to it anymore because of what happened in 2009. And so here's this nice little video here. And so I was just like, well, I have to see if it's 1840s clothing. I didn't make this video, but these are known, verified images. This is so funny that this is plaid. And so these emails, I'm not going to show you the emails from the church history department. And he didn't say who he was. He said he was anonymous. And of course, I have a video where I'm like, I think I know who you are. You've helped me and you don't know it. It's just funny to me. But he just said that my picture couldn't be 1840s because he was wearing plaid. He's not wearing plaid. But that's 1850s, and it's funny that this is a guy in 1840s wearing plaid. But anyway, going on. And then you're just going to see a lot of these pop-down collars in this video. There's a pop-down collar, military guy. And I'll just kind of stop at this one that I know is coming up. But yeah, you see that pop-down collar, and you're seeing sort of that bow tie that's tucked in. And so that's what you see in the RLDS painting, that he has this very big bow tie that's tucked into his vest and a pop-down collar. And so just looking at a cell phone, looking at my website, it's a disservice. You got to look at it on a computer to see, oh, I've spent 3 years studying this, and I've been studying the clothing. So this is Frederick Piercy. Shows it. That's definitely a pop-down collar. Um, show you Oliver Cowdery, 1845, Met Museum. Now this is sort of pop-down, but this is England, and this is a saltwater print, 1840s. This is Oliver Cowdery, believed to be 1845. 1845, so somehow they know the year. That's a pop-down collar, and you're seeing sort of that scarf, but you can tell he's just letting that hang down, but other people would just wrap it around 3 or 4 times. In order to get that collar, which was a separate piece, this is the Met Museum, so this is Samuel F.B. Morse. They know the artist, they know his 1840s, and this guy you really see. I think this is probably the quality of the original daguerreotype of my image, I would think. Although my image has more quality than this. But I think 1844, he had a few more years. So this guy just barely learned how to do daguerreotypes. So it's a little bit blurry, but if you copied that into the carte de visite, you'd have sort of, especially the face, similar about the quality there. But you're sort of seeing that darker upper lapel, but you're seeing this is a scarf that's wrapped around tight to pull that separate piece. I'll show you some examples of Joseph Smith's actual clothing. After I go ahead and show you here, Abraham Lincoln, 1846. high collar in the 1840s, wrapped around scarf, tight to get that collar up high. And then they didn't care by 1850s. They let the collar be low, let their neck show. It was actually kind of lethal that they would starch up these, especially when those popped up collars. That's why they stopped that real quick. People, like men actually got injured from popped up collars, I was reading. Um, I think how active Joseph Smith was. I think he would have jumped on the let's get rid of the popped up collar thing, but he wanted to just look put together, and people complimented him, and so here are a couple of links. They don't all work perfectly great. So the one that shows the 1850s one, it's not loading. My internet's sucky today. So here's 1846. They're showing that, and then you got the 1860. So these are low quality, but you're showing those jumps there, that bigger collar. And this page, they've got this whole video, which was interesting, talking about his beard. I think a girl thought his high cheekbones looked weird and told him to get a beard, is basically the whole story of that. Which I don't know. But yeah, right there, if the page would load, you will see that 1850. Okay, so that's where I did get these. And so I've checked so many other websites, and I'm like, I think they're right in the timeline and everything I've found of the clothing this decade. So that really convinced me super well. And then I felt very strongly that I should look up specifically Joseph Smith's vest. And that's when I found what they have at the Pioneer Memorial Museum. So January 1984, they took some photos for this article. And so they said it's Melissa Wilkes or Wills was given this vest of Joseph Smith by Emma Smith. So Emma Smith didn't hate the plural wives. And then here's that collar. It's a separate piece. And so this is definitely a pop down collar. And so you see how it's kind of that thicker look, but when they put that scarf up there, it made it about half, you know what I'm saying? Like half right there. And the things that I noticed, even though this is low resolution from the website, I do have high quality photos. I'm just not going to put on the website right now or anything because I want to, use it for something hopefully bigger. Hoping it happens, but the details that I found from seeing it in person and seeing some higher quality photos that someone gave me permissions, not for this, but for something else to show. But I mean, they said I could, if I'm just trying to just wait. Those are some of the things I'm waiting on, But stripes, and then you're seeing some of these cross striations up and down, and then this guy's saying it's plaid. It is not plaid. It's really mostly striped vest with, and there's white stripes too. So it's black, blue, flowers, a lot of great detail on there. And so here's just like all the details that I noticed. It's a very high collar. I think there's a button right there. I think there's a flower on his left or right. I even think I can see sort of part of a petal that goes off from where the vest is. And that's damaged, that huge black mark. I think that's just somehow damage on the actual photo. Luckily, there isn't that much damage. And you're seeing a darker upper lapel, but you're seeing these stripes on the vest. But you are seeing some of those cross striations I see in that original photo and in person, and there was stitching on there. But again, it's just that darker upper lapel, and that collar couldn't be any higher. So when someone was arguing with me saying that the collar was just too low to be 1840s, I saying he was wearing plaid, and I'm just like, I don't think you're looking at my photo, or you just really don't care. I think it was both. So it was just unfortunate, But what I'd noticed, so after the vest, I kept having the impression to look up lapel, and I didn't even literally, I mean, honestly, I didn't know what a lapel was, and that just, look at the lapel. I'm like, oh, yeah, this doesn't, I kept seeing the blue jacket with this weird notch, and I'm like, well, it doesn't look like my photo. just kind of depressed, you know. And this is what most artists know. You're seeing that weird triangle. There's a notch, but then it's a W, notched, weird, and a lot of Maudsley's work. And so as I looked at the lapel, I found this picture of David Hiram wearing this jacket. I mean, Emma Smith knew how to sew. If this was his jacket, she would have made this fit him. But this looks like a jacket that would have fit a much bigger man. Like, this man is very big. These shoulders just go off the picture and they keep going. He has a very large carriage, and they said that about Joseph Smith. And David Hiram Smith was born 3 months after his father died. He never met his dad. And I think this is the oldest, I mean, but I mean, the youngest picture of him. And I could imagine how much poetry wrote about his father, never met his father, and always looking at his grave and just being so sad, knowing his mom was so sad. So you're seeing that darker upper lapel. And I'm like, I think he's just wearing, before I started thinking about the lapel, I'm like, I think he's wearing, I just kept thinking he's wearing his dad's jacket. Just look at this. He doesn't fit. I think that's his hand crunched up. And just, you know, that's like me as a 7-year-old wearing my mom's big sweater when I got cold. You know, this is very, very too big for him. And I think if this was his jacket, Emma would have tailored that to fit her son. She made clothing. That Joseph Smith's Plural Wives attest to that. That's what women did back then. They made their own clothing. They stitched their own clothing. Sometimes someone might make something for them, you know. I'm sure that was a nice relief if they could afford that on occasion, but I don't think that was super, especially with her son. She was very poor after her husband died and everyone left Nauvoo. So that's a darker upper lapel. And I was like, oh. And then I got really sick for a while. And then after I wasn't sick anymore, I started looking at stuff and just, most of my videos I'm just thinking out loud. They're pretty boring, like this one, you know, but it's a way for me to learn, you know, and I don't know if I'll keep all of them up, you know, but everything's going to be fine as far as this goes, you know. But people are researching this, just kind of helping out and showing you the links. This is the Two Martyrs. So then I was like, oh, darker upper lapel. And it looks like this very, wow, you just look at the carriage, just the shape of his body, I think really matches. And then you just got military Gallia at Pioneer Memorial Museum. So pretty much you got also this ruffly, it's literally those ruffles so you won't see the buttons or the opening, like the straight line. You don't see that in my picture, but he had a piece that, you know, separate piece of a collar and then a separate piece that goes on the chest that was just ruffled, hiding any buttons or any, if that makes sense. That's at the Joseph Smith Memorial, that's at the Church History Department Museum. Church History Museum where the death masks are. They show that roughly and they show some of his military gala. It's when you go to the Pioneer Memorial Museum that you see the vest in person, a drawstring from his underwear. So, but yeah, there's Hiram Smith. You see, always sideburns. Had a little bit more hair than Joseph. They were quite generous with the hair there. There's showing a little bit of a receding hairline there. But again, you can watch my other video. Brigham Young had this, and it was a painting in 1852, and yet in the 1870s, he's complaining to Alexander Smith, saying Emma Smith has pictures and he wants to see them, and why is she not sharing them with the church, and he's upset. Pictures. And in that same book, they explain pictures and start talking about the Native Americans and how the camera and pictures and the camera and how they're afraid of pictures coming from a camera or cameras. And so that's what you know in that year that book was written, what pictures meant, the word pictures. So receding hairline again, they're always going to get at this. But yeah, you're seeing a lot less hair there, but this is sort of, he basically has really long bangs coming from the middle of his ear. But I think in the summertime, working on a farm, chopped it off. But that was my other video. So, but yeah, that's all I have for today. I think this guy is wearing 1840s clothing. This is sort of my analysis of what I think is going on with his outfit there. Okay? Anyway, have a good day.